I have been a dungeon master for a few campaigns now, and I've started to DM for an upcoming actual play on my other channel, Trash Buddy Games, and I don't think I'm very good at it. I don't think I'm the worst dungeon master. My players keep showing up, we have fun, memorable moments. No one is asking me to step down. But every time I finish a session, I replay it in my head. I remember a description that fell flat. I remember a voice that I wanted to do for an NPC that I just didn't. A combat encounter that wasn't exciting enough. And then I watch other DMs play the game, and I think to myself, how do they make this look so effortless? The gap between the DM that I want to be and the DM that I currently am feels massive. So today I'm doing something a little bit different. Instead of pretending that I'm already a great DM, I'm going to work on becoming better. I'm going to identify my biggest weaknesses as a DM, and I'm going to work on improving them one at a time. This isn't a how to DM series. This is a watch me become a better DM series. My goal isn't to become the next Brennan Mulligan or Matt Mercer. It's a lot simpler than that. I want my players to have fun around the table. I want my encounters to feel more engaging and my sessions to feel more memorable. But most importantly to me, I want to feel more comfortable behind the DM screen. Consider this episode my baseline. These are the skills I currently struggle with. These are the habits I want to improve. Hopefully, after 6 months or so, I can look back at these videos and notice a difference between the DM that I used to be and the DM that I am. Often I find myself not describing scenes well enough. My descriptions are often vague or just functional. You enter a tavern. The cave is dark. Goblins attack the party. It gives the players information, but it doesn't make it easy for them to imagine the scene in their head. I want players to feel like they're in this setting and they're not just reading bullet points. In order for a character to roleplay easily, it can be important for them to be able to imagine what's happening. They need to feel like it's happening to them, not just their character. So I will be working on creating vivid, concise descriptions that focus on sensory details. What do the characters see? What do they hear? What do they smell? What is the first thing they notice when they enter a room? A good description can influence decisions, and it can lead to more interactions within the campaign. At least one future episode will practice covering descriptions and possibly redoing descriptions from other sessions that I've done, whether that be in the actual play or just in my normal life. I struggle with voice acting. Right now, most of my NPCs sound suspiciously like me. Every blacksmith, every king, every goblin, every dragon, every merchant, they just sound like me. Most of them have the exact same voice. I normally have an idea for how I want an NPC to sound, but when it comes time to execute, I just can't pull that trigger. I know my biggest barrier has been anxiety about doing silly voices in front of my table, but I don't know why. My players do silly voices. My players want silly voices. They want this in their campaign, but it's not something that I'm currently doing. And while I don't think every DM needs to be a professional voice actor like Matt Mercer, I do think that distinct voices can help characters build connections with those NPCs and make them more recognizable. It's good if your player goes into a scene knowing who they're talking to, instead of going into a scene and you telling them who says it. So I want to experiment with accents, speech patterns, vocal mannerisms, and just ways to make characters feel more distinct without having like a theater degree. Combat is an area I can struggle with. Mechanically, it works. People roll dice, monsters attack, hit points go down. But sometimes I feel like people are just waiting for their turn in combat. I want combat to feel dynamic. I want the players to picture the action. I want the battlefield to actually matter. I want everyone to pay attention even when it's not their turn, which is a tough thing to ask for in a game of D&D. Future episodes might explore things like environmental hazards, better encounter design, descriptive combat narration, and more ways to keep people, including myself, engaged in a fight. Then there's pacing. Some sessions move too slowly. Other sessions sprint through content that I want players to spend more time on. Sometimes an encounter drags, sometimes an important moment gets rushed. Pacing is one of those invisible DM skills that nobody notices when you're doing well, but everybody can notice when you're doing badly. I want to learn how to manage my energy at the table and keep sessions moving without players feeling rushed. One thing I have realized I am not very good at is downtime. My games often jump from quest to quest to quest, adventure after adventure. But some of the most memorable moments in campaigns happen between the adventures. Characters shopping, researching, building relationships, causing problems, or following their personal goals are important in D&D. Downtime is where characters stop being adventurers and start being people. This is one of my favorite things as a player, but it is often a gap I see in myself as a DM. I want to create downtime that feels meaningful instead of just feeling like filler between the episodes. Oddly enough, dungeons are something I struggle with. It's odd because it is part of the name of the game, Dungeons and Dragons. Most of my dungeons are functional. There are rooms, monsters, and maybe a trap or two. But they don't feel like real places. They don't feel like places with history that make the players curious. Why is the dungeon there? Is a question that I don't often ask myself. Exploration can be just as important as combat. It is often cited as a core part of the game, but I often just skip it. I like a good dungeon, but I'm bad at creating dungeons, so I need to figure that out. So here's the plan. Over the next several months, I'm going to take one weakness at a time. I'll research, I'll practice, I'll test ideas in actual games. And then I'll come back and share what worked, what didn't work, and what I learned. Maybe I'll improve a lot. Maybe I'll discover some weaknesses. Maybe it's a complete waste of my time. And if you're a DM who feels like you're struggling with some of these things, maybe we can figure them out together. I could do all of this privately. I could read books, watch videos, and slowly improve on my own. But I do think there's value in documenting the process. Most improvement videos are made by people that have already mastered a skill. They're looking back and explaining how they got to this point. I'm still at the beginning of my journey as a DM. I'm still making a lot of mistakes, and maybe that's useful to someone. So tell me, what's something you struggle with most as a dungeon master? Descriptions? Combat? Improvisation? World building? What has helped you improve? Are there books that you've read, videos you've watched, dungeon masters that you have watched that have made you a better dungeon master? Do you have anything to recommend to me as somebody who is starting this journey of becoming a better DM? Let me know in the comments, and if you'd like to follow along as I try to become better, consider subscribing to the channel. And other than that, guys, I hope everybody is having an amazing day, and until next time, peace.